Welcome to Jude the Podcast. I'm David Jude. I'm your host, as always. We are recording live here from Shady Dell Studios. That's a new part to the introduction. With me, as always, the lovely Mrs. Jude the Podcast, who doesn't have much of a voice, so she's nodding.
Quite raspy.
And she's nodding raspily.
Raspily.
I don't know if that's a word or not, but it is.
Just call me Marge.
We have an incredible show for you tonight. This has been a long time coming. It's taken many opportunities for us to get scheduled, but I think you're going to enjoy the story, the guests. They're just wonderful people, longtime friends of ours, public servants, lovebirds. Maybe I should add in here.
Usually.
Yeah, usually. That's right. Our guest tonight, we're going to talk about their story, the book that they have out, and just wherever our conversation decides to go tonight. But it's Beth and Jim Aubrey. And so we are very fortunate to have you with us. So first of all, thank you both for being here with us.
Thank you for having us.
Heck yeah. We're going to have a good time tonight. We're going to talk about wherever our conversation goes. But I have to start with, I participated in my first official tea. Am I saying that right? Let me just start with that.
British tea.
Yeah. So
cream tea.
Yeah.
Cream tea. So Jim is from England.
Yes.
And then you're going to have to correct me because I just don't know. But part of the culture there is having tea every afternoon.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. And it's more than just a cup of tea that I would say.
More than a snack.
More than a snack. It's actually it's actually a thing. I mean, there's a whole process to this.
There is, especially with the cream tea. You've got the scones, you've got the clotted cream and the jam, and you just put them together and eat it in two halves, not as once slapped on top of the other. but also tea is also a social event as well. For example, if somebody comes into the house as a guest or something, one of the first things that the guest asks to the guest, would you like a cup of tea?
Right.
And the response is usually, if you're making one, oh, I don't mind if I do.
Yeah. So we have been planning this show for, months, I think. Yes. And life has gotten in the way multiple times and whatever else, but it really focused on, it didn't focus on the tea, but cause I was leaning away from it because I don't understand it. I don't know what it is, but I'm very glad that you persisted to say, can we do it? Because I'd never participated in it, didn't know what to expect, but it was really good. And we should also note a lot of that was handmade.
Yes.
All of it was.
Yeah. So Beth, you made the scones.
Yes.
Right.
The butter.
No.
The clotted.
Jim made the butter.
Yeah. And the clotted cream.
And the clotted cream. Yeah. Yeah. So listen, it was great. And fortunately, there's enough for another round here in a little bit. So I don't mind if I do or whatever.
By all means.
By all means, yeah.
If you're making it.
Yeah. Since you have extra, whatever the saying is, I'll sure do it. So I am looking forward to having another round of tea here in just a little bit. Yeah, good. Well, let's get into it a little bit. This is an interesting story that I'm excited for everybody to share with. Now, I knew it because of when you met Stacy. We learned about the story, of course, but as you were saying a minute ago, so many people had heard about your story. They encouraged you to write a book. But prior to the book, you were telling us you've been interviewed by media across the world, really, because of your story. Tell us about it.
Okay, my turn. Well, before we got married, Beth wrote to a newspaper in Cincinnati, and they didn't really care about it. We didn't get any feedback from them, and because we were getting married on a riverboat, we had to go to a place where we could board. Well, for a few weeks before that, we had lots of heavy rain, And the river was up high, the current was flowing quickly, and a barge broke loose and smashed into the berth where the riverboat was. So I guess, and ourselves obviously couldn't board. So they had to move the boarding point further upriver. So to get the guests to the new boarding point, they put on a coach for us. It was on that coach that the driver, he recognised us and says, "I know who you are. Aren't you the ones in the newspaper?" And we said, "Yes. How did you know?" "Oh, it's all this article in the local paper." I can't remember the name of it now. And after the ceremony, when he came to pick up the guests, he brought it out, and here it is.
Huh.
Anyway, that cutting, that article got across the pond to the BBC. And whilst Beth and I were having a pizza, she had a phone call from the BBC. "Oh, we've heard about your story. Tell us about it, because we want to do an interview on the radio. And before we're doing this series on pen pals and what became of them." And so we got this appointment to go to the NPR radio on the premises of UK, and we went through the interview. And a few years later, he got picked up by a radio station in California.
Well, let's connect some of the dots first. You're talking about the boat that you guys were married on.
Yep.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So let's connect another dot. We've established you're from England, and we're hearing about pen pals, but we got to establish where Beth is from.
Well, I'm from southeastern Kentucky, a little town called Jenkins in Letcher County.
Yeah.
And I was just a teenager that was bored, didn't have anything to do except go to the library and check out books. And some of my some of my high school friends had pen pals, and they were telling me that they had written to a radio station, and from that they'd gotten pen pals.
Is this the one in Cincinnati?
No.
Oh.
The radio station that I wrote to, I didn't know that it was stationed on board a ship anchored in the Irish Sea near the Isle of Man. I didn't know.
It was scandalous.
I didn't know that it was a pirate radio station that was unlicensed. And so...
This is like the before the internet, the scandal,
yes,
right?
yeah.
So the freedom of the internet. You're writing to a pirate radio station.
Yeah, I didn't know any of this. I just knew I was writing a radio station, and so I got an answer back, and it was from Jim.
So now, who were you writing to?
I wrote to the radio station, and I said I would really like to have a pen pal. So when you announce for people who want pen pals, I'd like to have a pen pal. And so they called out my name and my address.
Now, I don't know if we need to say this or not, but I kind of feel like we almost do with our ages collectively in this room. I guess we need to define a pen pal. Back in the day,
people used to write letters to each other. There was not social media. There was not all the ways of TikTok and, all the ways that kids communicate with each other.
I mean, there wasn't even cell phones.
No
and
cell
text
phones.
messages. Yeah.
No. I mean, I know that's unheard of, but there was no social media. There was no internet. And so to connect with somebody around the world, you have to understand, I grew up in a tiny, tiny town that might have been 3,000 people, and I didn't get to travel much. I'd never even been to Lexington until I was 13 years old on a Girl Scout trip. So this was my chance to see the world, to hear from somebody else in the world besides my small little town.
So really, you're just writing a letter to this radio station. It turns out to be across the globe.
Right.
And you're saying, listen, here I am. I just want to be connected to somebody. And they blindly make a connection, I suppose. Is that what happened?
Yes.
Yeah. And I excuse me, and I just happened to be listening, and they said at the end of this record we'll be announcing some pen pals in America. If you're interested, keep tuned. So I thought, I'd like that because, like with Beth, all my classmates had pen pals, so I scrabbled around to find pen and paper. I found a pencil, but I couldn't find any paper. And when the record stopped, I thought, I've got to do something. Fortunately or unfortunately, depending on which way you're thinking of this, the wallpaper underneath my bedroom was peeling a little bit, so I peeled it a little bit and I wrote the name and address on the plaster behind the wallpaper. And as far as I know, it may still be there.
So is this truly a random connection, or
yes,
or did you hear enough about the person in the letter to say, I'll choose this one and not this one?
No, as I recall, they called out 2 names. And I wrote to both of them.
Yeah.
One answered, and the other one, I'm still waiting for that letter. Although some years ago, we did make contact by phone. So.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Jim told me what her name was, and I said, that was my high school classmate.
No kidding.
And I said, okay, let me find her. Because now you can find people,
Right.
You could do a search and you can find. And I found her and I messaged her and I told her about the person who had written her a letter that she never answered back. And that we were now together. And it was pretty incredible.
So you sent off 2 letters.
Yes.
And come to find out, they're high school friends, we'll say.
Yeah. We were in band together.
So did your radio station in Jenkins, was it advertising this pen pal thing?
No.
Well, what's the irony? What's the chances of 2 high school friends, writing the same, same type of letter at the same time and end up in the same place?
I know. I really don't believe in coincidences. And if you read the book, you'll understand why. But you don't think about when you're 15, 16 years old, that one decision you make can really alter the course of your life. And would I ever have dreamed that many years later, decades later, that he would come across the pond to see me?
Yeah. How neat. So let's close up the part about the bandmate. What did she say when you told her?
What she was just very nice, but her life had gone in a different direction. They had moved away.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't think she ever got the letter. And so.
Did she remember writing?
She remembered writing.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of my friends had pen pals, and some of them stayed in contact for years and years after that. And I think it would be a lot of fun if kids did that now.
Yeah.
You learn an awful lot about somebody when you write letters to them because, he was 4,000 miles away. You're not going to be anything but real to somebody that's 4,000 miles away. I mean, you're not going to be phony with somebody 4,000 miles away. So what have you got to lose by being authentic?
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. That's very interesting. So how long were you guys pen pals?
18 months or so.
It was just under 2 years. There were things that happened in my family, and I lived in a culture where you educate the son and marry off the daughter. And that's kind of what happened to me.
Yeah.
I was essentially given away when I was 16 years old. And so I wrote him a letter and told him that would be my final letter to him, that I couldn't write to him anymore.
So you're thinking about hiring a private investigator, huh? Think knowledge, experience, and trust. Think DPJ Consulting. Listen, we're the folks you want on your team. Whether it's a criminal matter, corporate, or administrative issue, or maybe something more personal, you need to make the right choice for you. Our house of expertise at DPJ Consulting can help you with investigations, and that can mean a whole lot of different things. Pre-employment background checks, personal VIP security, and so much more. Check us out at dpjconsulting.com. Follow us on all of our social media platforms, or give us a call at 855-TEAM-DPJ. That's 855-TEAM-DPJ. Give us a call. It costs nothing to talk. It costs you everything if we don't. Yeah, how about that? So that's interesting to me, too, because I was thinking it just seems as we get older, things like pen pals just get pushed farther back behind. But that wasn't so much the case for you guys. Yours is because life put you in a different direction,
Right.
unfortunately, and you had to stop.
Right. But he was a very real part of my life. Well, I look forward to getting letters from him. And as soon as I got one, I'd sit down and answer him straight away. Because, it takes weeks when you mail a letter, even airmail. It takes weeks to get a letter across the pond. And so I looked forward to that. And I dreaded having to tell him that I couldn't write to him anymore.
Yeah. Jim, how did you receive that?
Hard.
Yeah.
It really was, because it was at a time when everything was going right. I was at college doing a navigation officer's course for the Merchant Navy, and I'd passed all my exams. I was all set to go to sea, and then along came this bombshell, and it hit me hard, but I just it hurt. Yeah,
Sure.
Let's put it that way.
So it sounds like you guys had there was already some type of, I don't want to say feelings, but feelings, adoration.
We were best friends.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're the age that we were, and you never had an experience with love, you don't really know what that is. But for us, we were very best friends. There wasn't anything I couldn't tell him about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then to drastically stop that's a
Shock.
big deal.
Yeah.
Shock. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So where did your life go? Do you want to talk a little bit about before you guys reconnected? Do we want to cover some of that?
Well, there's a little element that I wanted to mention. I sent him in a Christmas card before we stopped writing to each other. We're poor, broke high school kids. We didn't have money, and it's expensive to send a letter across. But one Christmas, knowing that I couldn't send him anything big, I sent him a bookmark in a letter.
Yeah.
And he carried that with him.
All over.
Yeah. He carried it with him even when he went to Northern Ireland. He carried it with him until it was worn.
Yeah.
And then he started doing a search for me. When was that? 2010. He started to do a search for me. And he pulled out a desk drawer. And he had been doing some genealogy research. And he got kind of bored with that, and he thought, he pulled out the drawer, and he found the bookmark that I had sent him. And
I thought, I wonder what happened to her. So I did a Google search.
Yeah.
And it came up right at the top. I thought, no, that's too easy.
Really?
So I closed it all down, did it again. No, still. so I closed it all, computer down again. I emptied the cache, the memories. Now, let's do it from scratch. And then it was, let's look at it. And it was on her high school alumni site.
Yeah.
And I looked at it and, that sounds about right. Okay, so with the message, I said, okay, I believe you speak pen pals, and do you remember me? And I just gave a small amount of information that she may remember. And then a few hours later, I got this reply. Of course I remember you. And so then we were emailing. Yeah, and
Wow.
That was it, yeah. But there wasn't anything untoward. It was just what we'd been doing, what I'd been cooking, going walks and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, how many years roughly had you kept that bookmark?
Oh, and that was been from 1967
to 2010.
and we still have it.
Well, yeah, that's right. That's what we're looking at here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it used to be covered in clear plastic with a green
Tassel.
the tassel on it. But
Oh, yeah.
that's long gone.
Yeah,
And
that's neat.
when he came over to see me, he had that in his jacket pocket.
Well, he should at this point. Yeah, of course.
I can't believe you kept it. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It was useful.
So the bookmark is it's an interesting bookmark, and in my limited knowledge of bookmarks, that's embroidered, I think would be the right way to say that, because you can see the thread on the back side of it. Any more bookmarks are just a piece of cardboard or piece of paper, really, and so that's showing its authenticity.
Yeah.
I guess it's old school.
And it's the Irish blessing. And interesting that he carried it with him when he was stationed in Northern Ireland with the Royal Air Force, back when the IRA was kind of...
So did you pick that out in particular because you knew? Did you know he was going to Ireland?
I had no idea. I just...
Because you all kind of fell apart.
I knew
beforehand.
that my last name linked me to Ireland and, Irish ancestors. And so I sent him the Irish blessing.
Well, to me, more fascinating than that is you found that in Jenkins.
I know.
A lot of Eastern Kentucky's Irish.
Well, I know, but there's just a lot of ironies with that, or it just played out the way it's supposed to play out. But you think in that time you didn't have 10 different mega stores that you could go to shop for,
Right.
for something that specific, a bookmark to send.
I even remember where I was when I bought it.
Yeah.
I even remember the little turnstile
thing.
Yeah, that they were on.
Was it like just a general store, country store?
It was, they sold everything, which is, you would expect. They sold shoes, they sold clothes, they sold all kinds of stuff there.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's a small town, Eastern Kentucky.
Right.
In the late 60s, right?
Right.
Yeah. So it's more of a general store type of approach.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. How interesting. Yeah. So you carried it with you during your military service.
Yep.
We are so glad to have Ugly Tent as a sponsor to the show. My longtime friend Kenny Dietrich is a subject matter expert in modern survival, bushcrafting, and preparedness. As he challenges us on the show, be prepared for the disaster most likely to happen to you. But let me tell you, Ugly Tent is so much more than just disaster preparedness. You need to check out the website at uglytent.com. That's UGLYTENT.com for a complete list of their products, their classes, and all the services that Kenny offers. There's a lot that I think you'll find interesting at uglytent.com. Again, just a neat place to go. So whether it's for camping, maybe it's a hike, maybe it's just trying to be in the outdoors for a little bit, uglytent.com is filled with the products and the services that you want. Not to mention you have a true expert as a resource for you. Listen, while you're there, use the promo code JUDE, that's lowercase JUDE, and that code will get you 10% off your total purchase. That's a pretty good deal for some really cool stuff. Anyway, check out Kenny at uglytent.com.
Yes, because at night there wasn't much to do, so we all had books, and I sort of read a lot. Yeah. But they were more the sea stories than anything else, and I found these 18th century ships of the line and the things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that fascinated me, that period.
But you always had the bookmark from the pen pal, the girl from the States.
Yeah, and also that's in that same Christmas, or a little bit after, she sent me an envelope full of the stamps. Because I told her that I was in the school stamp club. So I thought, what am I going to do with all these? So I thought, I'll take them down to that teacher and who headed up. So I did do, even though I vowed to myself that I would never step through the gates of that school again. But this was special.
Yeah, it calls for it, right?
Yes, it did.
That's great. Okay, so before we fast forward, anything else from the pen pal time that anything else you want to add in there?
Yes, there's one letter that she sent to me, and at the time we had one of my uncles was lodging with us, and he was jovial, happy, joking, and he covered the letter with a lot of initials, SWALK, BURMA, all these sort of things. And I looked at the letter and I thought, what on earth is he writing this? I didn't know he was saying you'd written it. It was full of all these little...
Now, I wasn't guilty of that, but I did. I did spray the envelope with lilac perfume,
Atta girl.
hoping that it would travel 4,000 miles. And still, he would be able to smell it. And interestingly, when he did that search and found me, what I was wearing, I was right in front of a lilac bush.
How about that?
Huh.
Yeah.
Did you smell it on the envelope?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
Yeah.
No.
So
I tried.
that's all you can do, right? That's all you can do.
Tonight I'm going to die for that.
All right. So he's cleaning out a desk. He's organizing himself. He finds the bookmark and he does his Google search to find you. You're over in front of a lilac bush doing whatever it is that you're doing. Right? And you get an email. No?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
I get an email from my high school alumni site that there has been a message for me. And he says, I think we might have been pen pals.
Did it say who the message was from?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you remember me? And so for you young people, you probably won't get this, but this is kind of like a giant Rolodex. Like you're going back in my memory. Oh, my God. Yes, I remember you. And I said, of course I remember you. And so...
You got to tell me what that feeling, though. I mean, let's not get into, yes, I remember. There's got to be this...
Did your stomach flip?
This feeling.
Yes. Yes, it absolutely did, because I would never have dreamed I would ever hear from him again. What are the chances? I mean, think about it. And until the era of the internet came along, we would have been lost forever.
Yeah.
And so, the internet does have some good things, and that one was definitely one of the good things.
Yeah, I'm going to push.
Go ahead.
We're going to dig deeper. I'm going to get it out of you. I want to know what that feeling was like. There's to me, that this is the big event, right? Is you get this, you had emotions, you had feelings, you had all these things, and then you had to have had disappointment because your life took you in a different direction.
It was very emotional.
Yeah.
My stomach did a flip-flop.
Yeah.
It's like my mind was like going crazy, wondering how this could possibly be. Just stunned. and thinking about all the years that we had lost, wondering what his life was like. A million questions were coming into my head about all those years that we'd lost.
Yeah.
So I just thought, what's the possibilities of him finding me?
Yeah.
So I don't believe in coincidences. I told you that.
Jim, she starts asking you a million questions. Are you thinking like, wait a minute, I shouldn't have hit enter on my email. What have I done?
Number, rank, name only.
So obviously the communication started back between you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had some explaining to do.
Yeah.
I had to explain why I wrote that letter. Because on the other side of this,
well, yeah, he wouldn't have known.
He wouldn't have known. I just told him I couldn't write to him anymore and that I'd gotten married. He didn't know any of the whys. And he was left to think that maybe it was a pregnancy, an unplanned pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to explain to him, no, that definitely was not the case. That's not what happened at all. And I had to explain to him what actually had happened. I owed him that much, really.
Yeah, certainly. I think so.
And
right, because you're going from being best of friends to suddenly you're having to cut it off basically cold turkey.
Yeah, he needed an explanation.
Sure.
And I had a hard time dealing with that one myself.
Yeah.
But
well, that's heavy.
It was very heavy. And as always, I told you he was my very best friend. He listened. He didn't judge me. He understood. He had to confess that he thought that's why I broke it off too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's fair. That's a fair assumption. And so I had, it was coming time, as I recall, for the junior-senior prom. Back in the day, kids go stag now. You don't have to have a date. They have a good time just going by themselves. But back then, you did not go to a prom without a date. So I had invited somebody to go with me because I knew that Jim wasn't coming 4,000 miles to take me to the prom, right?
Right.
And so, like I said, decisions you make, you don't think about where that's going to lead to, but we're on the other side of that now.
That's right.
We're on the other side.
Now, Jim, what were you doing with your life during this time? You talked about the military. Were you married?
No, right. I was going into the Merchant Navy. I was at college training to be a navigating officer cadet. I got all the qualifications I needed. I was accepted by my first choice of shipping company, so I was all set to go. And the company said, "Okay, all we need now is for you to go to Liverpool to get your to get your papers." So off I went. First thing was a medical. That's no problem. And I failed the sight test.
Well,
that I'd passed 18 months previously. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been allowed on the course in the first place, and I couldn't understand that. And then the doctors said, "That's it. I'm putting you down as unfit for deck service."
well,
So that was the end of that, and I was completely lost. I didn't know what to do, where to go. So they said, "Well, you just go and have some lunch, and then you come back. We'll try and sort something out." So I can't remember having lunch. All I can remember is just walking around the streets of Liverpool. And then going back to the Shipping Federation, and so they went through the sight test again. It's slightly better, but it still was below the standard, and so that was it. And they said, "Well, all we could possibly offer you would probably going as an engineering officer cadet." I thought, engine rooms, metalworks. Oh, no. I didn't want that. I was at school, I was more or less thrown out of the metalwork shop. So for me, that wouldn't have worked. So anyway, I got on the train, mentally and physically numb. And in all honesty, I wished that the train had crashed.
Yeah.
Because as far as I was concerned, that was the end of my life. I couldn't think any further than that. And I got home. My mum greeted me. "Oh, how'd you get on?" I says, "I didn't." And I explained to her, and she said, "Oh, what are you going to do now?" I said, "Well, the first thing to do is to take off the bell tabs that the cadets had." And she said, "Oh, yeah, I can do that for you." I says, "No, that's my job." So I went upstairs and I cut them off stitch by stitch, and it was like a piece of my heart being cut out. Because it's what I'd wanted to do since I was about 13 years old. That was my whole process, what I wanted.
Right.
And, it was a bad day, a bad evening. Anyway, the next day I went to college and to talk to the people there in the hope that they may know a way around it. But no, once I'd had that on the record, and they said, "Well, have you thought about doing a radio officer's course?" And, well, I hadn't. I said, "Well, why not?" Yeah. So I made an appointment with my parents to come in, and they were prepared to keep me on at college. And so I did that. And then I failed the exams. And I failed them, in fact, twice. And my dad says, "That's it. We can't afford to keep you at college anymore." And looking back, I failed those because my heart wasn't in it.
Sure, of course.
And it wasn't really what I wanted. It was just a means. So I had a good conversation with my dad, and he said, "Well, have you thought about the forces?" I didn't fancy the army, and surprisingly enough, I did not want the Royal Navy. And so I said, "What about the Air Force?" And I said, "Yeah, why not?" And that was it. I was in the Air Force doing ground radar, and I enjoyed that. The first few years I was doing installation work, a few weeks here, a couple of months somewhere else. He loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I left in 1982, got a job in various electronics companies, and here I am.
The rest is history. Literally.
Yes, yeah.
When he told me how much voltage he used to work with,
Yeah.
I was, oh my God, what was it, John? It was insane.
Oh, some parts was 500 volts, 1,000 volts, 1,500 volts. That's nothing. And the last radar that I worked on, that put out power in megawatts.
Yeah. I'm not embarrassed to tell you, I'm terrified of electricity.
Yeah.
You better be. It's a danger you can't see.
Yeah.
It earns people's respect.
Yeah.
Well, no doubt. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really ignorant to it, and I don't understand it. So I try to have an awful lot of respect for it.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that's the best way.
Yeah.
It can bite, and I've had it bite.
So, I know I want to get into your artistry at some point. I don't know where it comes into the story. So let's continue with you two getting together. So fast forward to 2010, right? You get the email. You guys start talking. when did the decision come to meet, to get together? How did that play out?
Well,
that's on me, really. My marriage was falling apart. It was awful, and she hit and broke the final straw, and I made plans to actually leave. And I went back close to my hometown, because the accommodation wasn't as expensive, so it seemed a reasonable place to go, and home to the familiar area.
Yeah.
And I looked at my finances, and I said, I can fly over. I'd always wanted to meet her, so I thought, yeah, why not?
Now, what year was this? How long after? So 2010, you reconnected.
This was now in 2015.
Oh, so you guys stayed, I guess, electronic pen pals for several years then.
So 2010, when he first sent me an email and we connected that way, we picked up a friendship like pen pals would pick up. We talked about the weather. We talked about Sunday dinner. We talked about the politics over there. We just it was very just low key. We didn't talk about the personal thing. I mean, I did talk a little bit about my family, and we'd had a family reunion, and I'd seen him pictures of our family reunion, and but it was never on a personal level, like between the two of us.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just like friends talking around a table.
So there was nothing romantic, because I knew that he was still married, and I think, nope. And I used to daydream about, I sure would love to see him. I wonder what it would be like if I went to England. Would he even, if I went to where I know he lives, would he even come to see me?
Now, did you guys have pictures of each other at this point? Did you ever have pictures of each other?
Oh, well, we did, yes.
Yeah.
His mother burned the pictures that I sent him of me and the letters. Yeah.
She was very tidy.
But I kept the pictures.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, he said he was coming over, and I said, yeah, I know you are. Guys won't come from one county over to see.
Yeah.
They won't come out of state. You telling me you're coming 4,000 miles? I'm sure you are. So I didn't believe it. And then he sent me his itinerary. I thought, oh my God.
It's getting real.
He's really going to come over here. And then I was scrambling, trying to, how can I get enough leave time to really show him around? And so I was still wasn't believing it. It was like I said, you'll have to pinch me.
Yeah.
And
I believe it.
Sure enough, when he came, that's exactly what he did at the airport.
As he should have.
He pinched me.
As he should have. Now, how fast were the communications coming, right? So in your all story, you went from, it took weeks to get letters back and forth. And so every day, every other day?
Here's a story that's fun. So we did email, and then he found me on Facebook. And he recognized my picture from, being in front of the lilac bush. So then we discovered Messenger. Oh, mercy. That's in real time. You could communicate in real time. And then one day I was on Messenger with him, and I accidentally hit that little phone icon up at the top of the screen, and I heard the ring, and I kept hearing it ring like a phone, and I'd never done a call on Messenger before. Next thing I know, this deep British voice answering. I thought, oh my God, my phone bill's going to be $300, but I can't hang up because I didn't know it was free.
Yeah. Right. Messenger's free.
Yeah, I didn't know it was free.
You did it then.
So it opened up the world when we could talk. Really?
Yeah.
That is so neat.
Yeah. So you load up, you pack up your bags, hop on the plane.
Yep.
You show up. You come to Lexington. Is this where we?
Yep.
What was your plan? Just to come in for a couple of weeks, or
Yeah.
and you were going to go back, or
Yep.
okay?
Now his backup plan, he's not told you this, but his backup plan was he thought maybe things might not go as well as he hoped, and that maybe we didn't hit it off after we saw each other face to face. And so
I was all set to book a hotel. and I don't know what I would have done whilst I was there because I didn't have a car. And I thought, I'd just hop on a bus. Well, the difference is in the UK, you can get a bus to go anywhere. They just up the road, catch a bus, go somewhere. Not round here. You see a bus. Look, a bus.
Yeah.
No.
yeah,
Everybody drives. I didn't know that.
Well, you didn't have a fully developed plan B. I was going to say no plan B, no alternate plans, but I guess you got to have a little bit of a contingency in case you need it.
Yeah, and if needs be, I probably, if things really didn't work out, I would have transferred the flight or something.
Yeah, of course.
I didn't need it.
We don't even need to cover that.
No.
Yeah.
well, I had the guest room all laid out for him. I even had bourbon balls on his pillow, so he knew I was hospitable.
Well, then let's get to this. The plane lands. You're there to pick him up, right?
Well, as it turns out, my daughter was in the middle of fundraising for an adoption, and there was a photography package that I bid on and got. So here I had a photographer, and I said, Jim, how would you feel about me having the photographers come when you come to the airport to see when we see each other for the first time? He said, yeah, that'd be a good idea. He'd like that.
That is a neat idea.
Yeah. And
Especially now that we're here, that you're here.
Yeah. And so it's in the book, the pictures of when he came down the escalator and he saw me and I saw him for the very first time.
You know the question's coming. You know I'm going to ask. I'm going to try to get it out of you. What were those emotions? What were those feelings?
Wow.
I mean,
after all these years. Yeah.
I just was so full of joy that the tears just, I have pictures that it's in the book and you can see, and I was just, my hands were going like this right here. And then he's running. As soon as he gets off the escalator, he's running to me and I'm running to him. And we just meet in an embrace and
no hotel room needed.
And people were looking, in baggage claim, they were looking at us because this was at Bluegrass Airport.
Right.
So people were looking at us like, there are photographers here. There are photographers here taking pictures. This must be some celebrity, but I don't know who these people are. And they were looking at us. You could see the puzzled looks on their faces as we were, because we were drawing some attention, weren't we?
Just a little.
But I can't even put into words how excited I was.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, Jim, I'm not letting you off the hook either. This just wasn't for Beth.
Yeah.
What's going through your head? What's those emotions feel like to you?
Oh, he was incredible. Not only just, on Messenger, hearing her or seeing her on the FaceTime, yeah. That was good, obviously, but seeing it in real life, holding her, it was just a lovely feeling, as though this is what I've been waiting all my life for this moment.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's how you feel when you get to touch the love of your life.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. How sweet. Oh.
So sweet.
And as she mentioned that, she said that when we meet, you'll have to pinch me, and I did on her bum.
I was getting ready to ask if it was on her bum.
Attaboy. As you should have.
And then she waggled.
There's a picture of me shaking my finger at him.
It's just like, you told me to do it. I didn't expect you to do it there.
I was thinking he's a proper, polite British boy.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that.
You learned quickly, didn't you? You learned quickly.
And so it goes on.
Now the show's getting spicy. Yeah. So where did you go? You left the airport. Where do you go?
Well, he was starved to death.
Yeah.
He came in through Atlanta, and he didn't know anything about the food here. He'd never been to the U.S., and so it was all, he didn't know, he didn't want to get it wrong.
You missed your tea time, probably.
Oh, absolutely.
So I said, where can I take him to that he could get something very uniquely Kentucky? And I guess I'm going to put in a plug for him here. I took him to Ramsey's and had his first Kentucky hot brown.
I was getting ready to ask him if it was a hot brown.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it had to happen.
I'm pleasantly surprised that's where you chose. I thought you were going to say something KFC or something like
No,
that.
I figured a hot brown. I was
Hot
like,
brown,
I would have
yeah,
thought
it
of a
had to
hot
happen.
brown. Yeah.
And he loved it. He loved it.
Yeah, I still do.
What a great choice. I mean, literally, I was expecting something quick and fast, which is not a great representation of food, but you chose really a homegrown staple.
Yeah.
Huh. And you still love it today.
Yep, absolutely.
And when he goes over, sometimes he'll order fried green tomatoes.
Tomatoes.
And they'll say, "Oh, say that again. That's the way you say that."
All right, so you guys strike it off. I mean, it's working, right? You're here and you're in person, and the emotions are there. So let's carry it forward. Did you stay? I mean,
Yes, for the whole 17
days.
Okay.
Well, it was a whirlwind. I took him everywhere. He wanted to go back to the little town that I grew up in. He wanted to go back and see the very post office that I would check and get his letters. He wanted to see the post office box.
Almost
And he
think you have to
remembered.
do that.
Yeah.
He remembered the post office box number.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah. I think you have to make that trip.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, it's such a connection to who both of you are. You almost have to close that chapter, since we're talking about a book, I guess. So
Yeah.
How neat. So 17 days, that's really quick.
Yeah, it was the first trip. He was a taster, and
He saw his first baseball game.
yes, yeah.
So what stood out that was so different to you, like from a culture shock? What was so different that you're like,
Leaving the airport, the traffic lights were on red, and she turned right. I said, "You just driven through a red light." And the other one, even before we got in the car, is, "What's happened to your number plate?" Because you have front and rear
Right.
number plates.
oh, how funny.
Yeah.
That's so neat.
So many things you take for granted.
Yeah,
you
you
know?
just wouldn't think about it.
Yeah. Why am I sitting on this side of the car?
Where's the steering
Driving on the
wheel?
wrong side of the road.
Yeah, you're on the wrong side of the road.
You know, it's very interesting as you see somebody experiencing something for the very first time. You see it again through their eyes.
Sure.
And that was really a cool experience for me.
Yeah.
Sure.
It was just like a child on Christmas morning. It was just like so different for him.
Yeah.
And just fast forwarding to the recent World Cup, seeing the Brits and Europeans experience life over here the food, the drinks, etc. I thought, that's exactly how I was. Yeah, I understand this.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so neat.
Yeah.
So then I'm understanding you made multiple trips. So after 17 days, you had to go back home.
Yep. And, well, Beth had to get quite a bit of time off, for the next trip. So I was back in the UK for a few weeks.
You're forgetting something. At the airport, when he was getting ready to leave, he had asked me, we knew his divorce was almost final. And he said, he had asked me, would you marry me? And I first said, you got to come over here and ask me that. I'm not going to answer you until you come over here. And so, we had to wait, because it's a big deal when you get a divorce in England. You don't just get a divorce. You get a degree absolute is what you're waiting for, isn't it?
And then the final.
Yes, so there's 2 stages to divorce there. So anyway, but we were to that point, and he said, we're in the airport. He's getting ready to leave.
In Lexington?
And he'd not asked me that question yet. And I thought, okay, you've been here for 17 days and you haven't asked me. And I was wondering if he changed his mind.
So he had mentioned the marriage.
Yeah. And then
prior to coming.
And I said, you got to come over here and say that. So then, then we're in the
That's a range of emotions.
Really. So here we are in the little snack bar in Bluegrass Airport as he's getting ready to leave. And he comes over, he gets down on one knee and proposes to me in that little snack shop in the airport. He says, now I don't have a ring yet, but that's coming the next time.
Here's a bag of chips or something. Here's a candy bar or something.
The ring pop.
Yeah, the ring pop.
The ring pop on it. That's awesome.
Here's the curtain ring.
Yeah. All right. So I'm assuming you said yes at this point.
Of course I said yes.
Yeah. And so you did go home. How long did you stay back home?
Oh, it was a couple of months. But I'd already, once I'd heard about, with the time off, I then got the flight booked, and I was there over here for a couple of months, wasn't it?
He, about as soon as he went back, he was booking the flight to come back again.
So how did you decide you wanted to come over here versus you wanting to move to England?
Family. And she had more family here than I had in the UK.
Okay.
My parents had died, my brother had died, or my uncles and aunts. So all I had was a sister-in-law from my brother and her 2 kids. That was it, really. So there's more here than over there.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So at some point, we're back to the interviews, the BBC and NPR, and they tell your story. But you were saying as we were having tea that people started telling you about the story. You should write a book.
They were relentless. You've got to write this story. This is like movie quality.
Sure.
And every time they see us, have you started to write your book yet? And so fast forward to June of 2020, we're in the middle of a global pandemic. The world is on lockdown.
Right.
I sit down at a laptop and I start to write. So that's, people, there's a story in everybody, okay? Whether they sit down and write it or not.
That's pretty quick, though. Like, for you all to have written that and to start in 2020 and already have it published. And
actually, it took us 56 months to write it.
Did it really?
It took us 56 months, and it was a huge editing thing. My dear husband here is very wordy. And yes, and so getting the word count down, we were just about to write War and Peace. And so, and nobody would carry around a book that we wanted a book about the size that someone could put in a backpack or take with them on a plane, hence the title, The Long Flight Home.
Right.
And that it be a good readable size. And so the editing was a huge, huge thing. So it's like, what do you put in and what do you cut out? And there was like lots of stuff. Like I wrote one chapter, he'd write another chapter. But we first sat down, we thought, okay, we don't have a story if we don't do this together. And we have to figure out what you were doing in this decade and what I was doing in this decade, and then merge the stories together, which was very hard to do. And so,
what made that hard? So I've always wanted to write a book. I just never sit down to do it.
It's just start.
So your thought processes here are very interesting to me.
Yeah.
But when you say that that's hard, to me, that seems easy, right? 1980, I was doing this and I was doing this. What made it so challenging?
Well, putting the pieces together, because there was a lot of time lost. There were 42 plus years lost between the two of us. I didn't know what he was doing. He didn't know what I was doing. My life compared to him and all the travels he had with the Royal Air Force was very boring. I was a stay-at-home mom for a while. I had 2 children I was raising. I was struggling. And that marriage did not work out. And so I was left with 2 children to raise by myself.
Yeah.
Back in the day when they didn't push child support. And so as a single parent, you do a lot of things to make sure your family's taken care of. For me, I enrolled in the mining tech program at Pikeville College, which is now UPike. And I remember the day that I went down on campus, the Bureau of Mines and Minerals was offering tuition, really inexpensive, paying most of the tuition if you would enroll in that program. So I went down to enroll, and I came back and I told my dad what I'd done, because at this time, I was a single parent now. And he said, "You're going to spend all your money and you're never going to amount to anything." And I was just crushed in my spirit, but determined. Just sometimes when people tell you you're a failure, it strikes a chord in you. It brings alive the fight in you that you did not know you had inside you. And I was determined. There was nobody to help me. I didn't have, my mother died and was buried the day before my daughter was born. So I didn't have sisters. I didn't have aunts. I didn't have parents to help me with my kids. So it was just me and the 2 of them. Mm-hmm. But I was determined that I was not going to raise my children on welfare, and I would do what it took. So I went to the mining tech program, and then I got a job as a safety inspector in an underground coal mine.
Yeah.
And I even went on to get first class underground mine foreman certification. I was one of a handful of women in Kentucky that ever got that.
That was my next question to say you're almost a pioneer in that field, right?
Well, it was tough because I was usually the only woman that worked underground, and it depends on where you worked, how some of the old timers treated you a lot different than the younger people. I've had some pretty cruel things said to me, but most of them thought, you could be on welfare. And welfare would be paying you to stay at home, but you're choosing to work. Yeah. And I respect you for that. And so the men were mostly very respectful to me. So I did that until, but I had always wanted to be a nurse, but it just didn't work out. So I had, while I worked in the mines, I took first aid training, CPR training, EMT training. And then when I got laid off from my job, I thought, okay, the next step up is I go to nursing school. So, but I did all this with my children. All the education that I got while I was raising 2 children by myself.
Yeah.
So I was leading quite the different life than Jim, who was traveling hither and fro and having a great time, I thought. And so when we were putting this together in the book, my daughter later said, he's really, I'm not seeing the spark with you, Mom. I said, my life was hell for a few years.
Right.
It just was. And you can't make it any, it was the toughest time of my life. And so, so we put this together and we get through it and things starts to even out. And, about the time that my life is getting, crazy, his is good. And then when mine's good, his is getting crazy. So
right.
it's
right. But that makes the good story.
Yeah. Yeah. So the book is a roller coaster. It's real, it's authentic, it's gritty, through and through. It's us.
It's authentic.
It's authentic. It's life. Life is not all what people post on social media that their life is, because if you watch some of them, their life is just absolute,
Right.
And that's not the way life is.
Can we sidebar a bit about the book writing process?
Sure.
Only because I'm fascinated by it.
Okay, go ahead.
But I don't want to leave too far from the story.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Now you guys are self-published?
Yes.
You chose to do that?
Yes.
Why did you choose the self-publishing?
There's so many scammers out there. And we almost got scammed by a so-called Christian publishing company. And that frightened me. And I thought, we're not stupid people. We can figure this out. And I researched and researched and researched. And I had, okay, what's the first step you do? What are all the different things that you have to have, all the elements of writing a book that you have to do? And I started making myself a framework of what that would be like.
That was my next question to say. Did you Post-it note it or did you?
Oh, my goodness. I wish you knew how many reams of paper I went through. We would write a while and then we would edit a while and we'd say, no, scrap that. And then I would say, Jim, honey, you've gone down a rabbit hole here.
Yeah.
We have to get back on the track here. But it's keeping the focus, and having, not losing the heart of the story as you go through every different crisis along the way. You can't lose the heart of the whole story.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to keep that pure. And, like I told you, there was times I thought about him, wondered if he would ever, if he would even speak to me. But we never forgot about each other.
Yeah, that's right. Did you hire an editor?
We did, because for one thing, if you don't hire an editor, nobody takes you seriously. They don't even consider your book professional unless you have an editor. Now, we had our book edited, I believe, 3 times. And when the editor said it was finished, I looked at it again and I thought, "Are you kidding me?"
Now, are they redlining and crossing stuff out, or are they just?
No, they're sending back suggestions, but the things that were missed, that like duplications, you'll miss, or you'll have something out of sequence, and she didn't catch any of those things. And
well, that's rough, isn't it?
That's rough. And so what really is essential is we had, I think 7 beta readers, people who were English teachers or librarians, and people who really knew how to write. And they critiqued. And I just gave them a manuscript. I said, What are your thoughts? And then when they gave me those thoughts, I said, okay, let me make revisions. And so I kept on, and even to the very end, when I finally said, I'm not paying the editor again. I'm doing this. And so the last edits were me.
Now, how did you find the beta readers? That's interesting.
Well, some of them were, my daughter is a teacher. So some of them were teachers.
I see.
And
Friends.
And friends who were really into book clubs and readers. And I knew they'd be honest with me.
But this is it's an inner circle. It's your own.
Yeah. And so that's one of the most valuable things that people miss is getting beta readers to read their work before they send it to have that first author's copy that comes back. Because I had 3 author's copies came back in hardbound version, and when I had to go change that, I was like, at this time I was having shoulder surgery, and I knew I was going to be laid up in a sling for a while, and I wasn't going to be able to do the editing again. And we had to take a break a few times,
Sure.
just let the dust settle.
Yeah.
There is one of the things that you probably you mentioned earlier is that we are, as we say, self-published. The reason why we went down that route was because we didn't want to go to a publisher. Because at our age, we couldn't take, rejection. We didn't have the time. So we thought, publish and be damned.
We had a dear friend who had enough money that she could publish on her own, but she wrote a book and she didn't go that route. She kept sending it off, and she kept getting rejection letter after rejection letter after rejection letter. And I'm thinking, hey, as old as we are, nobody gets to tell us no. It's our story.
What's your story?
It's our story. You don't get to tell us no. And so, and then it's our story. We publish ourselves. You don't get to tell us what to do with it. You don't get to tell us how to change it. You don't own it. We own it.
So to clarify, before I ask on that part of it, to clarify, if you send it to a publisher is going to review the book, and they're going to decide if it's in their best business interest or not to publish the book. And they're looking at potential sales, I imagine.
Right.
And so they make a determination. They like your story or they don't. But with self-publishing, to heck with all that.
Right.
We're just going to put it out ourselves.
Right.
Now, I see pros and cons. I see with the publisher, you get, I guess, shipment routes, distribution channels, perhaps. I don't know.
At the end of the day, it's up to each author to promote their own book.
Even with the publisher.
Even with a publisher. And we knew that. And so why do we want to give them most of the money for what we get for our books? We'll do it ourselves. And so we wanted to put our best foot forward. So we hired cover designer, book formatter. The fellow who designed the cover is from Scotland. And we love the job he did. We told him our story, and if you could tell more from the hardbound version than you can the paperback. But if you open that book all the way up, here is a 15-year-old girl that's laying across her bed, hearing cold train whistles blow, wondering where those trains have come from, wondering where they're going to, and wondering what's on the other side of those hills. Because understand, I was enclosed with hills, and I hadn't got to see much of the world. Just wondering if I'd ever see what was on the other side. So if you open that up, I said, I want a vintage train. And we spent some time
on the cover.
On the cover, there's a vintage train. It's kind of hard to see on the paperback, I confess, but there's a vintage train there to represent. And there's a theme of trains through our book. I've never lived where I couldn't hear a train whistle blow, and so it's. In fact, I can hear, if I hear that cold train whistle blow, that 5-chime whistle, like when I was growing up. it just brings tears to my eyes because songs and sounds bring back memories in a flood. And so he listened to what we said, the pen pal letters, the bookmark. And then when we went to the library, no, we didn't know. We went to the big bookstore here in town, and we looked at book covers, and which ones caught our eye. And you can see the ones that are do-it-yourselfers, okay? Because, they're cheap, but they're boring. And, and we stood at a distance and we said, okay, which book on that shelf catches your eye? And we went through the whole bookstore doing that. And it was always the vintage thing that caught our eye.
Like the type style, the font?
Yeah, the font and the vintage look. Mm-hmm. And so that's what we went with. And so my daughter says, don't have no boring spine on your book, Mom. And so we have the British and the American flag there. So
you did the whole process yourself.
Everything we did ourselves. We did the copyright thing. We bought our own ISBN numbers. We bought a packet of 10. I mean, because you got to have one for everything. You have to have one for paperback. You have to have one for a hardback. You have to have one if you have an audio book. So then we have a bunch in reserve. So if you decide you want to write another book, you've already got an ISBN number.
So I'm not asking for numbers.
Okay.
Okay. Is that a significant investment?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The editor, every time we had an editor edit, it was over $2,000 every time.
Wow. And you went through 3.
We went through 3 edits.
And finally just said, I'm doing it myself.
She didn't charge us as much the last couple of times as she did the first one because they do different kinds of edits. They do, the story itself and then, character development and that sort of thing. And to make sure the heart of the story stays throughout the, So, was that valuable? Yes, it was. It was very valuable that we got that, and I'm still glad we did. But don't discount the beta readers because those people are important, and basically they're happy if you'll give them a copy of your book later if they like you well enough. So we did.
Now, on self-publishing, you're not required, or are you required to buy X number of minimum books? But with the publisher, aren't you? Aren't you required to?
See, I don't know about the publisher because we decided early on we weren't going to go down that route. So I will tell you this: if you ever decide to publish on Amazon, if you take their ISBN numbers, you can't sell anywhere else. You have to, if you want your book to be available to libraries and like that, Ingram Spark. You go through there, and they have a worldwide distribution list. So we've had people buy our book from, where is it, John?
Japan, Australia.
Yeah. We've had people from around the world have bought our book.
Canada.
Yeah.
So if you would have gone through Amazon with those numbers, then it would have limited you, would it have not?
Yes, and because Ingram Spark, there's a big distribution list with them. And Amazon, you publish and there it is, and it's up to you to market it for them to find it.
Okay, because mine was Kindle. I got mine through the Kindle.
Now you're on Amazon, though.
Yes. We decided to go in both routes.
Oh,
We have our own ISBN number, so therefore we can sell through Ingram Spark as well as on Amazon, and we even sell them on our website.
So if you take their number,
you have to sell through Amazon, and bookstores will not buy from you if you have an Amazon ISBN number.
But that makes sense.
But you're allowed in parallel to have your own ISBN numbers.
And do whatever you want.
Even though you have an Amazon one, you can still have your own.
Well, no, we had our own. So we didn't get an Amazon one. We already had our own.
It's like signing under their license. They have
but you're on Amazon. So I thought you said you had to get an Amazon.
You can upload to Amazon and sell through them.
Oh, okay.
But, if you have their ISBN number, you can't really sell anywhere else.
So you say completely independent.
Right.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
So let's get back on task because you're too interested in the publishing.
Yeah,
it's, it's their story.
I know.
I want to see your book, Dave.
Yeah, I do too.
and I'll encourage you all along the way.
Don't.
That's what I need, another iron in the fire.
I was going to say, yeah, no. So 42 years passed between the time you all, like your gap, and then you all were able to reconnect. That's amazing that both of you were still alive. Like I sit and think,
Yeah.
you know, you think of whatever happened to people and, you know, who knows, but 42 years.
All because he ran across this bookmark in a drawer and said, wonder what ever happened to Beth.
Yeah.
And did a search.
And here we are.
That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Internet love.
It's beyond cool. Yeah.
That's really neat.
So what do you do with the story now? What's in the works for you? I know you do book shows and book signings.
And you
We
can get
have-
these on Amazon,
You get
where
them
they
on-
can find
you get-
everything.
We're in 9 Kentucky state parks now. We're in Joseph Beth. You, of course, on Amazon. You can buy them on our website. They're
Website is what?
And the
www.bbaubrey.com.
Okay.
Yes. And in fact, there is a book trailer on there that will give you the quick synopsis of even to the day we met in the airport, what that was like. And so it's a really cool story.
Did you do your website yourself?
Jim.
Yep.
Jim did it.
That's great.
Yeah.
It was easy to just do on this site, and you just put the information in, but they're not cheap.
Now, we hired someone to do the official book trailer for us, and our dream, our ultimate dream, is for our book to be a movie.
Yeah.
But you have to have connections.
Yeah.
Or you have to have lots of money. We have apparently neither. So, but you know, it has happened before.
I don't know if we'll move the needle for you or not.
Really?
It's a wonderful story because even
It is a great
I've always remembered like what you told me that time, and you know it's been interesting that I'm tickled to death you all have a book out now about it because it's got a lot more information than the quick tea version I got, but I think it's pretty interesting.
Oh, it's beyond interesting.
I want you guys to read it, and we've had people tell us that they've laughed and they've cried.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, it's authentic. And everybody can identify with the losses that we go through in our life, the disappointments we have. Those are the lows, but there's also the highs.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what are your day-to-day plans with the book? Do you just go to the signings? I mean,
Well, we
look for opportunities to
we
promote?
look for opportunities to promote. We are going to be at the Kentucky Artisan Center, which we were juried into there, as well as the Kentucky Folk Art Center. Our book is there. It's so many different places. It's in the Kentucky Coal Museum. It's over at Portal 31 because there's a coal mining connection in there, and they love it over there. They really sell well.
I've enjoyed watching where you're going, like all your places you've been that's agreed to take a copy. Like I'm so excited for you guys because you're like they want to have our copies in their store.
I know a couple of years ago, I guess maybe the Horse Park had a Kentucky Authors Festival of some sort. They promoted it as maybe 100 or more of local authors. Is that a thing? Have you seen that? I try to get Kenny to do it.
A lot of these conferences that they have are very expensive to get into.
Oh,
Now, we are going to be in the Bluegrass Book Con that's coming up in November. That's like a 3-day event, I think. But we've got a whole schedule of things that we're going to be in. We're going to be on an author event on Southland Drive in Lexington, but we've been all over, but we keep casting the net
right.
further and further, and that's one of the reasons why we wanted our book to pass the scrutiny of Kirkus Reviews and Book Life, because that is a huge thing. Libraries look at that, and we got great scores on there. And when you submit your book to them, they tell you, okay, I understand we're going to review this, and you can either have us keep quiet about what we find if we don't like it, or you can publish it. And we say, please publish it, because they loved it. So
That's great.
Yeah, it is great.
yeah.
I had another question, but it slipped my mind suddenly. It was along the lines of what's next, I guess. So while I'm thinking of it, give me your calendar. What do you have?
Oh, goodness. Of course, it's on my phone, which I did not bring in here.
Put you on the spot.
But the newest, most current event that was coming up is the signing at Berea. Yeah, at Kentucky Artisan Center. And we don't have our phones in here. I'm sorry.
No worries. But we can find that where on your website?
Yes. Yep. Yes, he has where we're going on the website.
Okay. And you have social media pages as well?
We do. It's called BB Aubrey. And we are not big into TikTok. We wish we were, because every time we have posted a TikTok video, it's gone crazy how many people see that. But we didn't come from a TikTok era.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Very well
and
know
so,
what you're saying.
This has really stretched us, you know.
Sure.
To have come this far and done this on our own is a huge stretch. And
I would imagine if you would do some TikToks, I would think your videos would be super popular.
The book trailer is great. It's great. And then I'm on your website now looking and reading. Of course, I apologize for the voice, but everybody's listed 5 out of 5 stars, and that they couldn't put the book down. You know, I know a lot of the story. I haven't finished reading the book. I got partway through it, but everybody's giving it great reviews. I was trying to see if you have a schedule coming up too on here.
You're kind of the atypical.
It isn't on yet.
Huh?
That isn't on yet.
It isn't on yet?
we will make sure that gets on there within the next day or two.
And so, honestly, if people want to buy a book, is it better to go through your website to get it? Or do you have to give a cut?
If they get it through our website, we will send them an autographed copy.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Is that more beneficial for you all to purchase directly
Yes.
off the website?
Yes.
Sure. Okay. And so that would be www.bbaubrey.com.
Yeah.
www.bbaubrey.com.
Yeah. So to go to these shows, you have to pack an inventory. Do you have to order an inventory?
Yes, we have to order an inventory. We usually, we have, you know, that in itself is a production.
Sure.
By the time you get the vertical banner, the tent, the tablecloths, the displays, and all that, to make it really a nice display, because understand we've got one book. We're not like John Grisham or
Yet.
or some of these other
Yet.
people that that have like a ton of books. And by the way, there is nothing, absolutely nothing, zero AI about our book.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, but I didn't know if I should even go there or not.
I want to say that because so many people depend on AI to do their work for them now. And, you know, when we went through the copyright process, that's a question they ask you. Is any part of this AI? And it is not.
Yeah.
So help me.
So what else about your story do we need to put on this episode? What have we not talked about that we should get in here? And then we'll come back to the final comments about where to get it and all those things.
Okay.
Just after the first trip over, leaving was very hard for me, and I know it was for Beth as well.
Yeah.
And going up those stairs, you know, at the airport, I was bent down. You know,
If you know Bluegrass Airport, there's this low, unless they've changed it, there's this low overhang that you can see a person going up, but after so far up, you can
Right.
see their legs, you know. And I would like to watch him to the last possible moment, and that was hard to watch him go through and leave. I knew he was going to come back, but when the love of your life leaves,
That's right.
It's hard.
it's hard.
That's right. That's right. But he came back, and
He came back, and he came back 5 more times, in fact.
And on the final trip, I used all my air miles to leave in style. I flew back first class.
Did you?
I did. And I must admit, it's the only time in my life I've ever flown sideways.
that's right.
When he took me over to England, the second trip that he came, because when he told me that he was coming back, and I had a decision to make. I mean, he left in July, and I went back to work and just right after he left. And the thing that we had decided was that I was going to retire because he wanted to take me to England, and I didn't have enough time. I didn't have enough paid time off. I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
And so, when it is time to retire, you sort of know.
Yep.
Yeah. And, but anyway, and I knew that I had to turn in my retirement paperwork. The day that I turned that in was the 10th of July, 2015.
Yeah.
And that was, it was scary because we had talked. He had been over here one time. He was coming back. When he came back, he was going to take me and we were going to go to England. And in the midst of all this, I had to do retirement paperwork, make that decision, and tell everybody at work. The day that I walked that across to the administrators, that was hard because that was it. There was no going back. Once it's like, yeah, you have to know what you're doing here.
Yeah.
And then I thought, I know what I'm doing here.
That's exactly right. Love it.
I knew it was right.
Time to move on.
It was time to move on. And so he came back, got me, and took me to England, and got to introduce me to all those crazy things and watch my eyes like I had watched his when he ate that first Kentucky hot brown. He introduced me to a proper British cream tea and meat and potato pies and proper fish and chips with mushy peas and baked beans for breakfast. Right. Just things that I'd never even heard of. Yeah. So
and haggis. When we went to Scotland, it's haggis.
Yeah.
Haggis.
Haggis.
I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is.
And then we'll talk about black pudding here in a bit.
I don't want to talk about black pudding. I worked with an Irish doctor. I don't want to talk about black pudding.
Bet. So anyway, it's like, when in Rome, do as the Romans. And I thought, I'm a good sport. I want to show myself to be at least a little adventurous and at least taste. And so,
Jenkins got cultured, did she?
I did for a fact.
Now she's making clotted cream and scones.
That's right.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Well, listen, it's an incredible story on the book part of it, and then I'll leave it alone.
Leave it alone.
Yeah. Very proud of you for your efforts and for your work and for doing it yourself. What an incredible achievement and pride that must give you just to accomplish that and to continue to accomplish that successfully. So for whatever it's worth, I'm proud of you for what you did there.
Thank you so much.
Now, enough of that. Back to the story. The story is just incredible. I'm so glad you're part of the show and that you've been here. I hope we have plenty of downloads to hear this, and it helps you in some form or fashion for it. I haven't read the book yet, but I will. But from what I know already, why is it not a movie? I don't know.
It will be.
It will be. It'll happen. It's going to happen. So, you already know good things happen to good people, and the universe will just put you where you're supposed to be. And
clearly did.
So I think it's just awesome. Thank you so much for being here with us. And just incredible to spend some time with you.
Thank you both for
You're
having
welcome.
us. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah. With that. So with that, let's cover again. bbaubrey.com is your website that has your upcoming book events. That's where you can purchase the book. Of course, it's in other retailers, et cetera.
Autograph copy.
Autograph copy from that website. Shipped straight to the door.
Correct.
You too can read this book in just a couple of days. All right, very well.
And they also have audiobook.
We don't yet, but we have built a sound studio within Jim's art studio, and that is our plan. We've got all the equipment set up, the microphones and everything. It's just, I told you about the hardest thing to do is to start.
Yeah.
So we've got the equipment. We just haven't hit start yet. And, there are a lot of people who will listen to a book that will never read it.
Right.
Because they're traveling.
Sure.
People on the road traveling, and they love to listen. And we would love for them to listen too. But if we hired somebody to do that for us, it would be about $10,000. So we are do-it-yourselfers, and we will do it.
And you'll do
You
it
got to
right.
get that British accent in there, though.
Yeah.
That's right.
Like, that's the whole point of it.
And you'll do it
I
right.
don't have an accent.
Sure.
Everybody
All right, so do we list everywhere they can get their books? Pretty much a lot of the gift shops, Amazon, their website,
9 state parks.
all the state
Down in
parks,
Kentucky State Park.
Joseph Beth's, right? Okay.
Kentucky Artisan Center.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then November, we've got an upcoming book fest.
Okay, Tastefully Delicious also has it's over in
Lawrenceburg.
Lawrenceburg.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Kentucky Bookstore.
So you guys are out hustling, getting it everywhere.
Yep.
Look for it.
Okay.
The Long Flight Home, a true story, Beth and Jim Aubrey. It's an incredible story. You won't go wrong with it. Be sure to find it and be sure to listen and hear what they have to say. With that, thank you guys so much for being part of it tonight. Thank you to every like, share, listen, and download that we have, and to our listeners. We appreciate your support. And with that, we'll catch you on the next one.